Hi, this is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. Today is June 27th, 2022, and it is a great Monday. If you're alive, listening to this podcast, are able to listen, are able to see, it is something to be grateful for, thankful for. And one of the posts that I made last week was the idea of walking gratitude where you just take a moment and you just walk and you're expressing everything that you're grateful for. That gratitude becomes a way of life. One of the things that woke up in me when I was around 14 or so is this true thankfulness of my mother sharing her life lessons, principles with us, humbly sharing those, even the what people would consider the most embarrassing experiences. As I've shared, my father was projected his pain, some of his pain, out on my mother through verbal and physical and social abuse, and that was a my introduction to the generational cycle of pain, where I saw how something just literally takes you over and you become someone that is unlike yourself. And it is this pain, whether it's through childhood trauma, and that's what I often saw. Most often I would ask, what happened to you as a child? What did you experience that you're carrying on someone else's pain? That um, you became angry, fearful, because we know fear is often behind anger, the fear of not being accepted, the fear of not feeling worthy or good enough to be loved. And I entered my own darkness of pain around 5 years old. And I would still see the same thing where you could see the love, the happiness, the joy in the person, and all of a sudden something just takes them over. And I not only became a student of truth, but I wanted to know more, deep knowing, not able to articulate it, but I wanted to know more about this generational cycle. This something that was going through mothers and sisters and brothers and was deterring them from their life's purpose. I saw gifts not being fully explored because there was something that had them that grasp their attention more than the gift they embody, they have inside of them, that seed of expression through their unique personality. And so, being a student, what I found out was most important is living by principles. And that's one of the things I discuss today in my lesson with Fulfill Your Divine Purpose, my Facebook page, is that I believe when a major part of healing from the inside out is knowing what principles you stand by. What truths do you have inside of you that can prevent you from falling into a lot of potholes throughout life as we go through our earthly journey and climb the steep mountains of courage and discipline and optimism and faith, and the dark valleys where we're not even sure who we are, what we're doing, what are we here for, when we allow those experiences to label us, when we base our identity on how people treat us instead of who we are. And so when I discuss my mother's principles, I'm not talking about something that will imprison you, as I've mentioned today, something that actually frees you, because when you know what you stand for, you're less likely to fall for things. You're less likely to be swayed back and forth. You know when something isn't right, and you work towards making it right. As I discussed, we adopted a dog. His name was Zuko. His name is Zuko. I don't know if they kept that name, but shortly after his arrival in our home, it was almost like our home took another um, atmosphere, another vibe, another energy. Where my daughter was afraid of our dog, he was snapping, and he would even practice snapping with his mouth. And he would, from the beginning, he would lunge. Um, he would lunge at my son, and he would listen to me, and then he started lunging at me, and then he would listen to my husband, and he started lunging at him. And one of the things I realized is, very early on after doing some research, is that I believed he had some traumatic event that happened to him. And it was later when someone else confirmed that it sounds like he had a traumatic experience. He may have been taken away from his mother too soon. And so when I thought about the animal behavior, I thought about humans, and I thought about, how we can allow pain to define us, someone else's pain to define us, whether it's our father, our mother, our aunt, our uncle, and we feel like we have to be like them. We feel like if we're not like them often, that it's a betrayal. And one of the things my husband told my son that I thought was very profound is that you are an evolution. Basically, you are an evolution of me. I expect you to know better, to do better. And so it's not about, and for a long time I'm saying it's not about what your ancestors did. It's that should not define who you are. We have too much pain that resides in the past that needs to stay in the past, because now we know too much. I should say we know a lot. We know a lot more, and people are waking up to see that we are consciousness. We are awareness. It's not about the color of your skin, the race. It's not about your social economic background. It's about who you are in spirit and awareness. That we are part of this infinite knowledge that created earth and beyond. That we were made in love. And of course, we are to express love on our earthly journey. And that's with compassion and forgiveness. We have experiences, each one of us, that calls out the greatness within us. And it's with principles that we do unto others as we would have them to do on us, that we love others, that we give from the heart and expect nothing in return, that we forgive. How many times? We constantly forgive, to a point that we see there is nothing to forgive, that we see that there is um, a lacking of consciousness. Because if we truly know who we are, then we're not going to be bitter. We're not going to be trying to hurt people. If anything, we're going to be edifying and building each other up. That we see the pain, the projection of pain for what it is. And we do not let it become a distraction to fulfilling our purpose. If anything, we let it help us to say, that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. And I'm going to choose to be who I am, who my creator created me to be. And again, it's not about religion, and it's not about what you call this infinite power. It's about what you believe. Do you believe that the world is guided by good, or the world is guided by evil? And whatever you believe, you tend to live out. And I wanted the principles that my mother taught, and many that I learned from others, nip things in the bud, give from the heart. Um, if you take care of what you have, God will bless you more. Pretty much it stems from whatever you believe, you experience. You tend to experience. So whatever you believe about the world, we often experience it. And if you just change your beliefs, and I've been through that, where one moment I was, a period of time where I believed in God, and I believed in miracles, and and I experienced a lot of that. I experienced a lot of prayers, answered prayers. And then when I started doubting, whether, God was real, or whether he really loves me, that's when the universe was merciful to show me that at times, yes, I still love you. And yes, I am here, even here during the storm of the coronavirus and hearing about the deaths and, going through anxiety issues and problems with sleep. I had to remember myself as a child and remember the principles that I stood for. And instead of having to go on medications or melatonin to help me sleep, I relied on my body and the ability to restore itself to its rightful condition. And so, principles I have just learned over and over again, they have helped me to be free. They have helped me to reduce anxiety, to reduce problems with sleeping, that I'm free in my mind when I know what I stand for and what I don't stand for. I am free in my mind. I am peaceful. I'm not around people who talk negative to me. And if something is said that I don't like, I make it known because we all deserve respect. And so whether or not you um, were raised with principles, definitely you can listen to the ones that I've shared and think about, okay, what am I going through right now with life? And what principles do I need to adopt? Am I giving people control over me and how I respond to life? Or do I take my control back and know exactly who I am, or learning about who I am, and know that I want to be treated with respect, and know that I don't worry about what other people do or say, that I'm going to give from the heart and expect nothing in return. I'm going to nip things in the bud. If someone crosses the boundaries that I have set, I'm going to stop it. Because whatever you continue to do becomes a habit. And before you know it, a lot of people are breaking, are crossing those boundaries. It comes a time when we must stand up for what we believe in and have the conviction and the authority to speak for what we know is right, regardless of whatever relationship you are in. That I believe the truth is there as a safety net to help guide us and direct us when we say, no, this isn't right. I cannot have a dog in our house where our family is afraid. My children are afraid to go downstairs and to live in their own house. Zuko, the dog, was a guest in our house. And that wasn't right. We have breakfast, we have our meals at the table, not on the couch, living room couch where we're away from the dog. We are not in an environment where someone is bullying us or we feel like, we're afraid that the dog may bite us. Now, granted, he could have training, but we had to recognize that right now we're not ready to do that. We're not ready to spend a lot of time in training a dog. We are not ready to have a dog. We don't want a dog biting us, because to me, I thought about today, biting, consistently biting and attacking is like being in a relationship that's doing that. If we miss that relationship and we don't see the other side, that there was something going on with that dog that we are not experts at handling, we should feel good about letting things go. And that's the conversation I had with my son and with my family. We've talked about relationships. And if somebody is continually crossing those boundaries, I don't care who it is, we need to reevaluate those relationships. Your employer, your coach, often we're in relationships because we don't have those principles that we stand by, those principles that help guide our relationships. And so I encourage you today to really look at what guides you in an interview or in a job or in a relationship with a friend, with a coach, with a teacher, at a school, enrolled in a school. What do you stand for? Do you stand for learning, or do you stand for getting the grade? Do you just want to make money, Or do you want people to treat you with respect? So those are some things to think about. And whatever, look at your life lessons. What have you learned from those? Not in blaming, but what have your life experiences taught you? What are they continuing to teach you? If you feel like you're repeating the same behaviors, if you're getting stuck and it feels like deja vu, what do you keep repeating that life keeps saying, knock, knock, knock? I want you to listen. I want you to pay attention. This is very important for you to get in order to go to the next stage in your life. This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. You can find me on Fulfill Your Divine Purpose and on many social media platforms, Tamika as Chambers. I hope this podcast has been helpful to you. If it has, please share and make this lifetime great. And next week, I look forward to sharing more of my mother's principles. Yes, there are 41 of those. And I will continue to discuss those as well as transitioning to healing from the inside out. And one way that I do that is by restoring the principles, the life principles that I live by. You can do the same. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.